What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna walk you through a couple of my favorite banded hamstring exercises using a squat rack. What I really like about the majority of the squat racks on the market is that they place these holes for your J-cups, and also you can get these band pegs or pegs that go in through the holes, and then a perfect place to loop your bands. So you can literally put bands all over inside of these squat racks. Especially like this one, we got it set up on the bottom. So the first exercise I want to show you is a lying hamstring curl on the floor. So I got two band pegs set up with a single 41-inch band strung between them. And then I'm gonna put a barbell pad on it so that I can hook my feet around it, and it's gonna be super comfortable. It's really easy. Just slide this band right into the barbell pad, get it locked over. And then I always like to make sure that the closure side of the barbell pad is away from whatever you're gonna be contacting. And you'll see that in a minute. And then I just got a pad set up on the floor. Super easy for this one. We're gonna hook our feet under the barbell pad. And like I said, keep the closure facing away from the contact point. And then I like to string myself out here, lay down, thrusting my hips into the pad, squeezing my glutes, and then solely working on knee flexion only. So just gonna bring that up, bend at the knees, and squeeze those hamstring muscles. And you might have to adjust yourself kind of forward or backwards so that the pad doesn't roll up and down your legs as you're doing it. You want it to sit kind of right on the top of that ankle, and then you can really drive all of that force into the hamstrings, squeeze at the top, get full range of motion all the way down to the floor. Just touch your toes barely, don't rest them on the floor, and then come back up and get all the way through. Big squeeze at the top, exhale, and let it down nice and slow. Remember to keep thrusting those hips into the pad to get the maximum hamstring engagement. And this is just a great grinder exercise to really focus on those hamstrings. Another way you can set this exercise up is using a bench to get yourself up off the floor. And also, if you don't have the band peg holes on this bottom beam, you can always just use the vertical bar holes. And if you're in a pinch, you can use your J-cups. Just make sure that there isn't any sharp edges on the J-cups that are gonna cut your band. So I got this thing set up same way as it was before. I just moved it up to the vertical beams, and I'm using the J-cups. Threw a bench in here. Get your bench positioned, and remember, get your barbell pad in a good, comfortable position. And then all you need to do is basically lay down onto this bench, keep your ankles up to keep tension on that band. And then I like to scoot as far away as possible so that I have a good amount of tension at the bottom of the rep. And then it's the same form as before. Sweep up all the way through, getting those legs up as high as possible. Squeeze it, let it down nice and slow, all the way, full range of motion. Big squeeze at the top, and let it down nice and slow. Next up, we're gonna do a single leg standing hamstring curl. So I set the band back up on the bottom of the rack, same configuration as before with the band pegs. And now we can basically do this same setup and get ourselves positioned to do a single leg standing curl. I like to use these beams as a brace, and then all you need to do is center the working leg on the band. And then I just kind of hook it up right behind my heel, get a little tension on it. And then all you need to do, again, we're thrusting our hips forward, keeping basically our hips locked and keeping this knee locked and driving it into the other leg to hold it stationary. And then we're just gonna curl up as high as we can, full range of motion, big squeeze at the top, let it down nice and slow and controlled. With these hamstrings, it's all about getting the proper form, not using momentum, and don't thrust your hips around while you're doing the rep. You want to keep everything as fixed and stationary as possible, and the only thing you're bending at is the knee. And you get a big squeeze, let it down nice and slow. If you get too much weight and you can't go through a full range of motion, drop that band down, because you want to be able to get through that full range of motion and really feel it on those hamstrings. At this point, some of you may be wondering, well, I got this nice cable machine attachment on my rack. Why am I not just using that versus using the bands? And the answer to that is I wouldn't prescribe to be using one versus the other. They both have their own advantages and disadvantages. I'm just trying to show you the different setups that you can do using bands on your racks. Personally, I find that sometimes in my workouts, I like to use the bands, especially like the lying leg curls and the standing leg curls. The strength curve on the band is going to be a lot different than what you feel with the cable machine. The cable machine is going to be more constant resistance throughout, which can make it really challenging at the top of the rep or at the bottom of the rep to get through that range of motion on a hamstring exercise, versus the band, it's lighter at the bottom and heavier at the top, so you can really target a different portion of that strength profile. So personally, I like to mix it up. I'll use bands, I'll use cables, I'll use free weights to train hamstrings, but ultimately, it's up to you on how you want to do this, and I would highly encourage you to try different things and especially mix it up in your workouts to keep your muscles confused and also just developing that more well-rounded package. There you go. There's a couple of different hamstring exercises to use inside of your squat racks with resistance bands. Obviously, there's tons of other setups that you can do, and with being able to use band pegs, like the options are endless. So I want to just give you a quick preview of my 2 favorite hamstring exercises using bands inside of a squat rack. Also, if you liked what you saw today, be sure to smash that like button. Furthermore, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to check out the on-screen video links. We got tons of content just like this on the channel. Furthermore, if you need any of the bands or accessories shown today, head over to clenchfitness.com. We will hook you up, and thank you for watching.